This video is an in-depth look at the background retainers from Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Retainers. You have one or more loyal steadfast servants or assistants. Retainers may be ghouls who are bloodbond to you, individuals you have so dominated over the years that they are incapable of independent action, or individuals you have so overwhelmed with your presence they would do anything for you. You must always control retainers in some fashion: salary, vitae donation, a direct mesmerism. Though typically loyal, retainers may betray you if the reward outweighs the risk if you have treated them badly. The storyteller can always call for a scene between you and a retainer. Retainers should act as characters, not puppets. Even ghoul retainers aren't supermen. The most skilled servants don't always show the highest loyalty. Everything in Vampire is a trade-off. Storytellers can use retainers to add flavor to the chronicle. Don't let them or their misuse damage the story. One dot retainer. Underwhelming retainer. A child, a criminal lowlife, a horror nerd follows you around and does your bidding without a blood bond. Build them as a weak mortal. A two-dot retainer is a ghoul, a family servant, a human lover, or a dominated thrall. Give them a backstory. Build them as an average mortal or as a ghoul with no advantages. For more on ghouls, see page 234. A three-dot retainer is a retainer competent enough to act independently and make lesser problems go away. They are likely a ghoul with traits equivalent to a gifted mortal, on top of their supernatural abilities. Retainers are your loyal followers. They are most often ghouls, but they do not have to be. All ghouls know is they serve a vampire. The details of their knowledge of the kindred vary from one vampire to the other. As ghouls are potential masquerade breaches, the less they know, the better. Yet sometimes it's beneficial for them to know more than they should. Keeping a mortal retainer through the dominate discipline, a healthy salary, or other options are also viable, but they will never be as loyal as the ghoul. How to create a retainer. This generally starts out with several questions. The first is, what is your retainer used for? Do they watch over you through the day while you sleep? Do they take care of your day business for you? Are they your muscle to protect you when you're called upon? This is the most important question that needs to be answered, as this is what the retainer will be built around. What type of retainer do you have? Do you have a ghoul? Are you paying someone an obscene amount of money to work without any questions? Are you dominating them into a mindless zombie that jumps at your beck and call? Stat your retainer. Weak mortal, average mortal, or ghoul with no advantages, or a gifted mortal, and make sure that their skill centered around that purpose that your character wanted them for. Also note that if you choose a ghoul, they have the lowest power of your character's highest discipline. Fill in the blanks. Now they need a name, sex, and find a picture that resembles what you think your retainer looks like. I suggest choosing a quirk for your retainer as well. When I say quirk, I mean something about them that stands out, whether it be like a flaw or something else. Charlie the house servant could make coffee for himself and offer his dominator a cup of coffee every day upon awakening. Now Cindy the protector could be a hardcore butt kicker, but whenever she looks at her dominator, she gets all girly and love-struck. The retainer is an ongoing character with lots of screen time during game sessions, so they need to have something memorable about them. My players generally make me make up their quirk, and they enjoy it. How I use retainers. The player has an idea why their character wants a retainer, and have them created. The storyteller now has the job of making them personable. The retainer generally lives with the kindred that uses them. It is the secondary character to the player's character. They get screen time every game, even if it's just mentioned in passing. An example would be, tonight your character wakes to Charlie, entering your room with 2 mugs of coffee. You quickly thank him and inform him that you do not have time for a coffee, as you are late to a meeting with the coterie. Charlie nods, smiles as you exit the room, and you make your way to your meeting with your coterie. Another example would be, tonight as you are heading out to meet with your coterie, you see Cindy approaching you from the kitchen with those love-struck eyes. You know you are in a hurry, and quickly explain that you will spend time with her soon, but have an important meeting to be at, and you do not want to be late. Now both of these examples show how fast and impactful this can be. Even if not needed in the scene, the retainer is not wasted. Difference between retainers and allies. There are a lot of similarities between the two backgrounds, but there are a few major differences. Allies have to be mortal. Retainers do not. They can be ghouls. Retainers do not ask for something in return for their help. Now technically you can be picky and say that they do, but it's still a lot different than the allies. Especially if the retainer is ghouled. They will do anything asked of them in most cases. If not ghouled, but being obscenely overpaid for their job, they will be willing to go above and beyond, knowing that they will lose their resources if they don't. Retainers know of your condition. Allies could, some retainers don't, but generally speaking, retainers know about vampires and allies do not. This makes retainers a much better choice for circumstances where the character's vampirism could be a problem in a given situation. If it is daytime and you need to be moved due to a warning of the Second Inquisition heading to your haven, a character is going to be hard-pressed to understand why you need to be moved and can't be in the sun, and you may not even be conscious. You can imagine how intense that would be. Whereas with a retainer, he would know what was going on and move the character. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new, or at least something that you can use in your own game.